Hi, I'm Joe White. Welcome to Behind the Curtain, Ashland Community Theater. I am very lucky today to have three wonderful actors, writers. Today I have Tom Astro. Is that what you're going by today?
That's what I'm going by, Joseph.
Okay, Tom is the writer of the show we're going to be talking about, Friends in Black and White. Larry Loring, who you probably know from many of our shows that we were doing. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Jerry Halfhide, who is also part of the show that we're going to be talking about today. So Tom, give me a brief background on the show, the film, and now the play, now the film called Friends in Black and White, which I think is the working title, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, Joe. So, you and another friend of mine, Carol, were the ones that encouraged me to write. And during the pandemic, I had some time and I just started to write and I didn't even know how to write. It's been such a long time. And then I just started thinking about my life. And, so this play is the second play that I've written. There are some autobiographical elements of this play and this film. Michael Clinton in the play was my best friend, my first friend. And as we've spoken, you never forget your first friend. And, Michael is just somebody who's really special to me. And I just felt I had to write this play. And
to give the audience a little bit of a background without giving too much away, what is the overall premise of the story in your mind?
Yeah, so it's two friends, they're first friends, and then they lose touch, and then just through serendipity, they meet again later in life, and they're both New Yorkers, lifelong New Yorkers, and they meet, and in the beginning it's tentative, and then they realize this love that they had for each other, and
cool.
It's really wonderful. It's the best thing that I've written so far.
Yeah, I think I agree. So Larry, you joined the cast. Tom tried to get a play going on in the last part of last year, trying to do a couple of different ways, virtually, etc. You were cast in the role of Tommy. Can you give me a little bit of background about the storyline behind Tommy? What do you think Tommy is in this storyline to you?
Oh, well, Tommy's a businessman who's lost track of his friend from way back in the day. He gets stuck having to take a bus instead of the subway. That's part of the story. And in so doing, he re-encounters his friend from back in the day, and the humor involved with that, and the almost the pathos at times throughout the play really drew me to it when I first read the script. This is one of those plays that I wanted to do badly. There was just so much there. It was so profound in its own way. It's very funny at times, but the kind of thing that as an actor, the emotional range was there. Going from deep laughter to deep sadness and everything in between. The character himself is something of a nudge. He's a pain in the keister, and
is that typecasting, Tom, or is that
a little bit?
I was thinking of you, Joe, when I wrote that.
Thank you very little.
But no, it's just one of those roles that I would have paid Tom to do this role. I didn't tell him that beforehand.
And Jerry, what about you? You got the role of Michael in this. What attracted you to the character, and what are you enjoying about playing Michael?
Well, there's many different things. First, I am from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, but I have an uncle that lived in Queens. Well, he's deceased now, but he lived in Queens, and he drove a bus for over 30 years. And he's bald. So it's like perfect. I knew this guy. I knew this character. And another thing that I love about it, I mean, he's a black character, but he's universal in many ways. He could be any color. It just so happens that he's black, which is great. but he could be anything. Another thing that I just loved about it, as Larry said, was the range. You know, comedy, touching at times, gets a little absurd in a way, but it was a part that I could definitely show my acting chops a little bit if I can be so humble as to to have a chop.
So I know you
But
guys.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, just like Larry, it was a play that I just had to do the first time I read it. It's like, wow,
Mhm.
this is fabulous.
Well, not to give Tom too much ego, because I think he's got enough to fill the room and then all of us combined. But I think when to Larry and Jerry, your point is when Tom shared that with me, I read it. As I'm reading it, I'm thinking, this is a film. This is something that I think we could put together. And I was visualizing how the characters could interact with each other. And my favorite thing about the whole project is that the title says Friends in Black and White. There's not one indication at all whatsoever about race or any other than friendship. And when I'm looking at this script, all I read through it was two friends. I never really even looked at it about as a black man and a white man being friends for these years. And Tom, that's one of the things we spoke about from the beginning. And I think we went through the script with a fine tooth comb 100 times or so. And there's nothing in there that kind of indicates that in one way or another. And was that on purpose, or did that just happen to come across, Tom?
Yeah, first I wanted to thank you too, Joe. You know, you've been a big help to me, and you know, you're the one that started this process. And you know, meeting, I knew Larry. We had acted in a play together, and you know, meeting Jerry, and it was just, you know, these two guys, we became friends, and you know, I miss them, you know, and so, you know, just that saying that. But you know, Michael was my first friend, you know, and I was raised, you don't see color, and I try not to see color. And you know, Michael was, you know, and still my first friend. And you know, it's just it was just a beautiful relationship. And these two guys just brought that out. And you know, we tried to get this as a play, and then with the pandemic we couldn't get it, and then you brought it forward as a film. And you know, just working with these two guys, it was just you know, when you write a play, it's just words on a page, and you need actors to bring it out, to bring it to life. And these two guys did. And you know, kudos to them.
Yeah. I would have loved to have watched them on stage, Jerry. I know that Jerry and Larry, you both rehearsed. So give me a little bit about what it was like rehearsing together, doing this play and getting to know the characters a little bit more, because it's not just taking the script and saying lines anymore. You've really worked through this. So Larry, can you give me a background on that? And then Jerry, if you can go follow that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, when we first started rehearsing, I knew Jerry from previous events at Ashland Community Theater, and we had kind of hit it off. But when we started rehearsing, there was something about the chemistry between the two of us that mimicked in real life almost the words on the page. So that, you know, we actually became really good friends as we were doing this. And so Tom during rehearsals used to look at us and say, wow, I would think you guys were already best friends. And you know, in effect, we were becoming that. It was there was a remarkable work that was going on between us, you know, emotionally, for lack of a better word. I love you, man.
Hey, I love you too, man. Ditto on everything that you said. And probably one of the best things about our rehearsals was the way that we kind of explored the words and the feel and the actions, I guess, of these two characters. We had a lot of fun experimenting with it, and I think Tom gave us that freedom to just go and see where we land. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I'm hoping that we get to do the play. I mean, I'm really
Yeah, me too.
absolutely happy about doing the film, but I'm hoping that we get to do the play also. There's something different about the play. I think we are more in charge of the feel, the tone, and the mood. Um, but in the film, it's the editor, the director, the editor, and it's shorter lines than we would say in the play. I mean, things are kind of cut short. So I'm really looking forward to doing the play one day, and I'm looking forward to doing the film also. I love working with Larry. I love reading Tom's words. I think Tom's words are basically just people talk. It's the way people really talk, and they jump off the page at you. So, Tom, I know that your head is getting bigger by the second.
So that was actually
but
a great segue.
you really do
Jerry,
have a
'cause
talent there.
Oh, thank you.
he does. So Jerry, great segue, because one of my next questions, and I usually ask this, is especially I'll start with the writer, and then I'll go to Larry and Jerry about in the play, in the script, what's your favorite lines or line that there is that you've written? That hopefully I didn't chop out and butcher up, because I think if you did, you'd fight for it. But what is your favorite line in it? I know I'm throwing this curveball at you because I try to do it because something usually pops out at me. As an actor, I know it better than a writer. They're all my favorite because they're all my children. As an actor, there's certain lines you say that you just can't, you don't want to leave out, and respecting that. So Tom, what do you think your favorite line or lines are in the, and without giving too much away, if there's
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know about lines, but there's a scene that the two actors changed and made it much better than I wrote it, when they're in a car and they're in the car together, and it really brings out who they are. And that scene just crystallizes everything about who they are, and they made it better than I wrote it. So.
And before I go to Larry, I think part of that is probably because of what they did, and they rehearsed it. And I think there's nothing better than getting people together and reading lines to it, not just try to get a script, show up to the shoot, and then film those lines. To me, it's great and all to be prepared, but I think there's some real benefit about that rehearsal time. Everything I've been reading about films and difference from plays is, in plays, there's a rehearsal and there's a live performance every night. In a film, you get that morning script, you look at it maybe for 24 hours, and you come in knowing your character, what those lines are. And sometimes it changes in the middle of the day, middle of the shot, and you get less of that. So one of the things I tried to do is try to make sure that script that we do, that we're working on, people have weeks in advance, that's what we're going to be filming.
Yes.
So as opposed to throwing something at them that day. But okay, Larry, favorite lines or section without giving too much away?
Possibly my favorite line is the one line in the script that indicates that there is a black and white element. So Tommy says, the kids, that is the little kids, they would be my great niece and nephew.
Yep.
Says, the kids call me Uncle Tommy too. They ask me why my skin's so white. I tell them it's because I didn't get enough sun that week. They giggle. That's the thing. It's just, it's a heart puller for me.
The follow-up to that line too was, to me, is the follow-up to that line is, if I could do that, life isn't so bad. I think I got a few good years left in me.
Exactly.
Because it kind of gives an indication that where his life is at that stage of the story, what keeps him going.
Yep.
And that's an important thing, because as life, as difficult as it is at times, anything that can keep you going and motivated in a positive way is a great thing. So I love that line too, Larry. Jerry, what about you?
Throughout, there's a theme. Well, there's many themes, but one of the themes is that Michael is definitely afraid of his wife, Angela. I mean, he is so afraid of her. And so I just love those lines when I say things like, oh, I hope Angela doesn't find out or Angela better not find out about this. It's like I'm just really afraid, so much afraid of her. There's another line also that Tom really likes when I deliver it. It's a line about losing my pension. So I I'm talking about possibly the old days, possibly thinking about cheating on my wife. Here's my wife again, and I'm like, oh, but I didn't want to lose half my pension. All right, so I love that line too. I love it. So yeah.
So Tom, you mentioned you wrote this was a play, and I know it was difficult because we went through it as a film, and a lot of the feedback that I've gotten on films before is the most difficult thing to ever do is to take a play and turn it into a film. So, but I felt that the storyline and the arc deserved its story, and I think there's a lot of things we can do visually on this. But I do agree. I think this is a play as well. So don't make changes to the play concept when we're making changes to the screenplay because it's a different story. It's going to be told differently. It's going to be told more visually than the two actors being together on stage. When you did it on stage, did you just have the two actors, or did you have other people playing other roles, or was it just more people off stage, like the daughter and people at the bus or train stop or whatever?
We had other characters. When we were rehearsing, we were getting close to premiering the play in Milford, and we brought in one other fella. He was a bartender, but for most of the rehearsals, it was Larry and Jerry. And my first time directing, they allowed me to direct them. It was I was really keying off them, because they're such good actors. And I think that I was able to direct because it was just the two of them, and they were so generous to me. And you were so generous to me. We were going back and forth with the screenplay, and I just didn't get it. And then we met one day, and we walked in Stone Park, right? Remember that day? And I just heard your vision, and I got it. A little bit. I have a lot of work to go, but I finally got it. And you three guys just helped me so much, and I just appreciate it. I just wanted to thank you.
We love you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jerry.
Sorry, it was easy to let you believe that you were directing us.
Right. We really pulled that one off, Larry.
Best part of an actor is letting the director know they think they're in charge, and that's a beautiful thing. And then when you're on stage, you just do what you want anyway. It's like, I don't know, I forgot that note. I'm sorry, but I always wanted to do it. I guess the question that I would have to wrap everything up is, what's your hopes for 21 as far as, and what do you miss most about not being with everybody, other than not being with everybody with theater? What's it? What's the biggest thing you miss? We'll start with you, Jerry, this time.
Oh, that's easy. Just having someplace to go.
To do.
Right, something to do. I'm tired of being home, looking at my wife. Oh, where is she? I mean,
Angela, where are you?
I don't know if I can let her see this episode now. I think I just blew it.
Hey, listen, Jerry, I could be bought. Editing is a beautiful thing. I could edit I could actually take that and film it and put it on a loop and just post it to YouTube and then share it with your lovely wife. So, Larry, what about you? What do you miss so far? What do you miss over the last almost year now?
Yeah, pretty much the same. The disappointment of having two plays basically robbed from us was really tough. And just I used to so look forward to once, twice a week heading out to do a rehearsal, to engage with people, to act with other people, to enjoy our craft together. And I've missed that dreadfully. I've taken up my stamp collection again. That's how boring I am.
Tom, what
pretty
about
boring.
you?
Yeah, I really just started acting recently. The generosity of actors and theater people, you hear that all the time, but it's really true. It's not easy to get on stage or to go in front of a film, in front of people, and to give of yourself, and when you need people that surround you, that care about you and are generous to you. And I really miss that. I miss it terribly. And I just hope with the vaccine and we move forward, and hopefully we're able to get back to doing our thing.
I miss the camaraderie, and I miss the process. Camaraderie, as Larry was saying, the giving of others, Tom was saying, Jerry saying, someplace to go and be with people that you want to be there, because none of us are getting paid for this. We're doing this out of our own love for theater, film, and acting. And when you take that socialization away from people, it really has a mental impact. I know we've tried to do the best we could with Zoom shows and et cetera, et cetera. It's fine. It keeps you going for a little bit, but it's just not the same. And the collaboration of when you're sitting at a rehearsal where Larry could pull me aside and say, Joe, I was thinking about this with this character. What do you think? And Jerry would go, I'm thinking about trying this or trying that. And, Tom's walking in saying, I don't get the character here. Maybe what's your vision there? Those kinds of things you don't get over Zoom. You don't get that kind of 2-minute conversation aside. And that's what I miss. And the whole process of the rehearsal, from the beginning of meeting with people at a table read, all the way through to rehearsals, to, the jitters of dress rehearsal, all the way up to opening night. And then the performances, then you do it again and again. And then that sadness of when it's over, that whole arc of excitement, enjoyment, just when that gets taken away, I just think as actors and performers, it just takes a part of us away too. So one of the things I'm trying to keep going is go as best we can until the vaccines and everybody gets safe out there. But I want to get back to that, and I want to get back to that soon. And I miss you all and many others as well. And I do feel we are a family together. And I do say that in a way because I do think we look out for each other when things aren't going great for others in our community. We try to reach out. We feel sad for them, and can't wait to get back to kind of being together. And so we're doing this film thanks to Tom's writing, Jerry and Larry's excellent acting. I'm looking forward to putting it all together in the next couple of months. We're filming again this Saturday, so you're going to see at the end of this episode a couple of clips from some of those scenes that Larry, Jerry, and Caroline did, and we'll have pieces of that. And Tom, I love you being part of the show with, what do we call you? Boom, 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 slate ball.
Yeah, you've generously allowed me to hold the boom mic and to even do the take. I've been practicing.
Yeah. You got rhythm. You're great.
Thank you, Joe. I've never felt better.
Yeah. Big group hug, and that's what I miss too. I miss the actual, meeting people, shaking their hands, giving them a hug, and that kind of stuff. And I know it's not safe to do right now, but we'll get there. And I thank all of you on an early morning on a President's Day. We're filming, so I appreciate you telling me what you think about the show. Tom, thanks for writing it. Jerry, thank you for acting in it, and same Larry. Look forward to working with you again. Till next time, I'm Behind the Curtain. Take care, guys.
Take care. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tom.
Are you two serious? Is this some kind of comedy act? Are we on one of those camera shows?
Comedy act? No, sir. He's not that funny.